today. So I know I previously said that I wanted to do, is my captioner not working? It is not. Press start there. Whoops. Fucking, yeah. I know I had previously said that I wanted to do some fucking, redesigning on my live streams so they're more aesthetically pleasing. You were gonna notice some new intro, outro bullshit today. I didn't mean that. I just kind of manically did that, kind of. But fucking, yeah, that is to come. Eventually, I will be playing with that, but not today. Um, so fucking today, what we're gonna be doing is first we're gonna finish my rehash of my shit does not add up presentation, where I'm replaying the Casze and Raylee clips regarding questions I had. Um, and the reason we're doing a part 2 on this is because I decided while I was showing things, I was remembering, oh, you know what, this other clip makes sense for this too. So then I was like playing another clip during the presentation while I was going down. And so then I did that, and then I forgot where I left off, and I picked up at the wrong place. So in that process, I skipped some of the sections in my contract source area. So we're going to review that today, basically. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, so there's 2 live streams that I recommend you watch. Oh, yes, I apologize. I love my mind, but sometimes I hate my mind too. I'm like, I don't know why I'm like this. But also, the other thing we're going to do today is part 2 of reading the 60-hour marketing challenge, which is an ebook I wrote in 2021. And I wrote it for artists, business people, entrepreneurs, marketers, just anybody hoping to help people with business, right? And so, fucking, if you haven't, watched these 2 videos yet before this live stream, what I think would make sense is to first watch the part 1 of the 60-hour marketing challenge. That one also has a replay or a recap of the entire Casze Raylee issue, everything that happened. I summarized that in about 10-ish minutes and talked about some other shit too. With that, and then I did part 1 of the 60-hour marketing challenge in that video, so just the recap and part 1 of the live reading of my ebook. And then so if you watch that, then you watch the shit does not add up rehash 1, my last video I did on this. That will give you a recap of the situation. That will put this live stream into context, and give you the full context of the rehash of the presentation I did. And this, what we're looking at today on that part, should have been in the contract portion of that contract category, of that. So yeah, fucking, I am going to roll my fucking intro, and then we're gonna get started. We'll do the presentation rehash first, and then we'll do the second part of the live reading next. Um, so yeah, fucking, and we are here now, so let's do this bitch. Hi, my name is Alexis, also known as Lexi or Deaf Child. I was born deaf, hard of hearing. I began doing business as Deaf Child 2013, marketing 2011, sales 2009. I've earned 50 plus certifications in marketing and sales. My Bachelor of Science from Loyola University, New Orleans, with a music industry studies major and a business administration minor. Deafness runs in my family genetically. Speech is not fully accessible to me. Anyway, I'm here to bitch about whatever the fuck is on my mind. So here we go. Visit my site at noladeafchild.com. So first we're going to start with the Casze presentation on Raylee and Casze. On the second presentation that I had done, we've been going over the source material on that. And what we need to cover is we're going to take it from the end of the due date section in the contract issues. I had right here is during the due date of the dress. I didn't finish from there where I should have. I got distracted and I came back at due date with the amendment. And so I skipped through some sections here that we're going to go over regarding 6 months rush must pay in full or up front, and the amendment on the contract and things. What were some of the different things that were said that could, lead me to question what actually happened? We're going to roll the clips on that real quick. And then we're also going to look at one thing in the extortion area where I was just arguing or theorizing the possibility of would this text message count as a threat regarding the police, and would legally would that be an issue, could that be something? But it was just like a hypothetical question, it's not necessarily something that like I think may have been done intentionally. I think it's just like something that you could theorize, could this be a hypothetical result of what happened, even if you don't think that's where the motive was. Do you know what I'm saying? But yeah, fucking also in my last video in part 1 on this, comments had gotten moved to the descript wait, that's not right. Sources and links and information that was in the description of that video got moved into the comments because I was running out of character space to do the timestamps. You know what I'm saying? And the timestamps, I don't even think those generated right, but whatever. At least the fucking link for the timestamp is in the description. Um, so yeah, for that video, fucking but alright, so, and for context, this comes from the shit does not add up presentation rehash. You know what I'm saying? And so we had looked at all of the issues, and I rolled the clip on each specific statement that I had made into where I was questioning what was happening. You know what I'm saying? Except for the ones that I accidentally forgot to roll the clips on, which we're going to do now. Um, and so, yeah, basically just asking you guys, did this shit happen? Is this a figment of my imagination? You know what I'm saying? Um, and fucking where we're gonna be is in the contract issues, the contract specific things. And on the part 1 of this rehash, I timestamp at contract issues. If you check that timestamp, that's where I give you a overview summary of these specific statements here that I am analyzing regarding the contract issues. So, you know what I'm saying? Definitely go, if you need to put all this in the context, I really think you should go watch part 1. So, yeah, but we're here now, so let's actually do this thing. So we're going to start at the due date of the dress. So where I had left off, we were discussing the due date of the dress and the concept of a rush order leading me to believe that it was done on time and that the contract showed it was about 2 weeks late. And so I had come to add the link where where Raylee had texted Cynderra that she was 12 days late, and I forgot to finish off there. So that is where I forgot which due date I was on, and I was at the due date of the dress, but I accidentally picked back up at the due date with the amendment, and I had skipped these other issues. You know what I'm saying? Like thinking that I was in the wrong place. And because I thought I was at the end of the due date of the address, I don't think I fully covered the due date with the amendment. So we're going to just go over all of this. So the due date of the address, basically, we're going to roll the clips real quick. As we know, was it a rush order? It was about 2 weeks late, so we were questioning when that was. I'm just going to go ahead and replay it. Fuck it.
Shipped a wedding dress to a client because I wanted to make sure she got everything on client. She's a rush bridal client.
Okay. So here we're discussing she's a rush bridal client. And in the part one of the rehash, it's timestamped there, where we discuss also that she shipped it, in the shipping section, in the delivery section, I mean. We discussed, that she shipped it 3 days before the wedding as well. Um, so yeah.
Contract, there is literally no discount stated whatsoever. I realized at the time of making this.
Now, then regarding the contract here, it shows she has the contract in the background. And when you read the contract, it shows that for the regards to the due date, there was about 6 months. So we just hear where Casze had said it was a rush order. But when we look at the actual contract, the contract one says that bridal wear, you have 3 to 6 months to order it, right? So why would you put 3 to 6 months in your contract if that's a rush order for you, in my opinion, right? In terms of standard terms that you accept those requests, right? In my opinion, just wanting to know. And so she had said it was a rush order, but this contract was signed in February. It was signed in February with a due date August 10th, signed February 19th. So that's almost 6 months. It's like 5 months and 3 weeks. You know what I'm saying? Basically ish, kind of, pretty much. You know what I mean? And so we were looking at that, marinating on that, and then let me show you this text message real quick. Raylee had texted Cynderra she is 12 days late. So in this text message, Raylee said, Cyn, you are 12 days late. And you know what I'm saying? And this is a text message that Cynderra herself had published. You know what I'm saying? In my opinion, I believe. So yeah, fucking now. So that's where we were at with the due date of the dress where we had left off. And I had at that point, that's when I had remembered this other source. I called to add it, but I actually fucking forgot where I was and picked up at the wrong spot, so we skipped all these other things. So next up, let's take a look. Is 6 months rushed? So we're looking at is the fact that if 6 months is a rush order, why give 3 to 6 months in the contract then? And that's what we had also just discussed. You know what I'm saying? Looking at the contract here, right? You know what I mean? And so, and then when you also, let's see here, we just looked at that source where Casze had claimed it was a rush bridal client. I don't think we need to play that clip again. We just played it, but let's look at this other clip here. Casze Cynderra had posted it took 5 months. And then we have this video right here when you spent 5 months making this wedding dress just for. So right here, she claims she spent 5 months making the wedding dress, but how is it a rush bridal client when you have 5 months to do it? Is 5 months rush for bridal order? But if that's rush for you, why did you put 3 to 6 months on the contract? You know what I'm saying? And when we look at that contract, and then we see how Raylee said 12 days late, right? So letting that marinate. Next up, let's take a look at the must pay in full or upfront concept. So Casze had said that she needs full payment before giving away the dress, but this isn't technically worded in the contract. And so yeah, fucking let's marinate on that. So Casze has said that she had tried to be nice for a rush order and shipped out, but you have to stand on your policies and your principles. And in my head, that for me, was implying policies and principles regarding the rush order, not doing that and shipping out and things like that, right? So let's look.
Let me explain why you cannot be nice. For story time, y'all, I shipped a wedding dress to a client because I wanted to make sure she got everything on client. She's a rush bridal client.
Okay, so it's really hard for me to hear her. I had to turn my volume up. I think she's saying that she was shipping the dress to a bridal client because she wanted to make sure she got it or something.
Shipped it out, and she has not paid me my money.
And I think she just said that she shipped it out and she hasn't gotten paid her money yet.
In business, you have to stand on your policies and your principles and do not let up, y'all. This lady.
So yeah, so she's saying you have to stand on your policies and principles. So did you mean you didn't stand on your policies and principles? And what were those policies and principles? And then she's saying in application to refund and and into sending the dress without full payment, right? In my opinion, if you put that into context, from what I believe. So, and then she sent the dress without full payment, and in the comments, she says next time she's going to stand firm on policy.
So I didn't send the full address. Of course, I have a deposit, and then the balance was owed, but I was like, hey, let me just go ahead and get her dress shipped.
So she's saying she did that, right? But then one person saying in the comments, someone said, wow, I'm so sorry it happened to you. It's horrible. It's okay. It happens to everyone. I've been through some stuff. I would just stand firm on your policy next time. And she said, stand so firm. You know what I'm saying? Okay. And so then Casze had texted that they don't ship unless the balance is paid in full, is what she texted, right? And so the text message, it says, we honestly do not ship until the balance is paid in full, is what Cynderra had texted Raylee. Okie dokie. Now, the contract does not state that the dress must be paid in full before receiving or production, only that it must be paid in full, and if not picked up in 12 days, can be sold. Let's look at the contract. Zoom in on that, baby. And so, let's see. Alrighty, so the contract says, I, Raylee Recavina, consent to doing business with Casze LLC on February 2019-2024. I understand that Casze LLC is producing custom couture designs. The fabric material is chosen specifically for each design. For regular couture garments such as cocktail dresses, jumpsuits, etc., I will allow 1 to 3 months. Formal wear 2 to 3 months, and for bridal wear 3 to 6 months. This allows time for sourcing, production, and finishings. The completion date is August 10th, 2024. Let's pause the reading here. So, this own contract says that 3 to 6 months allows time for sourcing, production, and finishing. So, according to her contract, that's not a rush order then, right? In my opinion. Okie dokie. Moving on. The contract then says the description of my design is as follows. 2-in-1 bridal gown. Short silver embellished fringe dress based with off-white detachable train. Short dress will be on white mesh. Corset base. Neckline will be constructed with a combination of half moon and half sweetheart neckline. Refer to sketch. So here we go. Right here, we can already say there's a violation in the contract because that neckline, one of them was like a half moon, but one of them was like a half heart. You know what I'm saying? And so when we do the half moon, half sweetheart thing, I think she meant both sides, half of each. I don't think she meant one side one and the other side the other. But that's just me. That's just me. Can a lawyer really argue this contract to go the way it came out though? I don't know. Anyway, and then it says, beaded, you know what though? It doesn't say asymmetrical. Then it says, beaded fringe with beaded tassel on end of fringe. At the bottom of dress with some rhinestone fringe mixed. Detachable waist train with crystal overlay with silver rhinestone, sequin, and beads, ombre effect. I think we could argue also the ombre. That ombre can be argued. Denser to lighter, especially the denser to lighter in relation to the ombre. We could definitely argue that didn't happen. The train length will be cathedral, 8 feet long. Then it says, by signing this consent form, you agree to the following terms and conditions. Provide a valid photo ID or license. You agree to pay a deposit for your item. Pay remaining balance or pay in full. There is no refund for partial payment or balance paid in full. If the item is not picked up by 12 business days, you forfeit ownership. So I understand that if Casze actually delivered on what Raylee ordered, that the refund policy would stand for sure, and that no refund would be issued because of the way this contract is argued. That's what it would mean, right? On one level. But on another level, with the way this contract is worded, you're talking about for this design with the description as follows. And I believe it can be argued that this description was not executed as followed, in my opinion. You know what I'm saying? If that's just me, you can have your own opinion. So because of that, my question is regarding the contract issues. Let's zoom back out again. She says she needs full payment before giving the dress, but that's not technically worded in the contract. The contract doesn't technically say you have to pay all of it up front before you get the dress. It just says you have to be paid in full, and that there's no refund, and that if you don't pick it up in 12 days, it can be sold. That's all. That's my my question here. So must you actually pay in full up front then, Cynderra? Because it wasn't in your contract and it wasn't on your website. So are we just making up rules as we go? I'm just wondering. Anyway, okay, so moving on. Next, oh wait, am I moving on? Was that all my sources on that? Yeah, that was all my sources on that. Okay, moving on. We're going to question the amendment on the contract. So the amended contract, it is discussed in text, but I don't think that was made public, only the original, from what I understand, right? And so let's look at the amendment on the contract. So the fitting, earrings, and train were cited as add-ons in this video. So they added something to the train apparently. And then it said, this is in the contract and notes from second fitting that you wanted longer. Those things plus the earrings were the additions. Also, the package has been intercepted. I have been very understanding. It's been So I think, right here they're saying the earrings, the notes from the fitting, and the train were additions. Okay? Alrighty. So, then we're not shown the price of the additional material in the contract, although the contract does mention additional material and add-ons may cost more, and you agree to it when you sign the contract. So, at the bottom of the contract, and I did not finish reading this when I was reading it a minute ago, it also includes additional costs for add-ons / changes, etc., when it gives the projected amount, which is $6,290 here. So yeah. Did I just show the contract in this video? Dresses, jump. Yeah. So we just looked at that. Okay. And then so Casze says there's an amendment on the original contract, but we don't know what that was, or if we are seeing the original versus the amended contract. Because then I heard, wow, like a princess and something about, let me get up. So my bad, autoplay. So in this text message, Raylee had, actually it was Raylee texting Cynderra, but Casze posted it. I've been getting that shit confused, so. It was Raylee that says there's an amendment on the contract. Yeah. So, it says, hi, Sen. I sent you an email to the Casze email for the DocuSign for the amendment on the original contract. Do you mind getting that signed today? Thank you. Okay. Alrighty. Okie dokie. So, then it says, Casze says she will send the balance for review with the custom earrings added. That was in a text message. And it says also the balance will be here for review with custom earrings added. This is a text message from Casze, from Cynderra to Raylee. Okie dokie. And so, yeah, and then Casze shows the checklist provided by Raylee. So legally, anything else in writing can be considered amendments to your contract when you're in a business deal. You know what I'm saying? Like, and so I'm wondering, like, just also part of the amendment to a contract, part of that additional charges. So these things all together, I feel, is why I was like questioning the amendment, the contract's discussed in text, but I don't think that was only ever made public. I think we've only seen the original, but I don't know for sure. I don't know if we've seen the original or the amended contract. And then I also had to question the due date with the amendment. So is this the original contract that we've been looking at? I don't know. And we know that it was Raylee that said that. I put Casze. Raylee has said there was an amendment in the original contract, but we don't know what it was. We don't know if we're seeing the original versus the amended contract. I think, but I don't know for sure, that we're seeing the original contract because it is dated February. But yeah. So Raylee also had said that Cynderra was 12 days late. So I didn't know if the due date with the amendment would change, right? Would the scope of a project, when you change the scope, does that change the due date? It can. It can. Otherwise, additional costs may be involved. But Rayleigh said 12 days late. So that leads me to believe there was no extension. You know what I'm saying? And then last but not least, in that argument where I was just arguing, like, is it threatening somebody to say you're going to call the police on them if they don't do what you want? You know what I'm saying? Like, so in my head, I was just like, okay, so if Rayleigh, so I don't know what happened. And in my part one of this, I think I give a better theorizing explanation here where my argument is, like, because if Rayleigh, I don't know what happened with the blocking. So I'm not saying this happened. I'm saying I don't know what happened. And my opinion changes based on the scenarios. And scenarios that I've thought of that could have happened are, from what we know. First, if Rayleigh invited Cynderra to come to her house, and Cynderra declined, and then Rayleigh said this, even if I still think it's problematic, I would get where Rayleigh's coming from more, and I wouldn't necessarily be on the like I wouldn't be like that's. It would be less fucked up in some way. It would still be fucked up to me because there's just issues with with police. I've already harped on that. We're not going to keep doing it because it's not. But yeah, so you don't do that. But fucking. So we all know how I feel about FTP, F12. And so yeah, fucking. But. And then the entire concepts of mass incarceration, police brutality, and who that actually impacts, right? So we all know how I feel about that shit. So I'm not saying that doesn't still matter, but what I am saying is I do get a level of, if Rayleigh was crashing out on her around her wedding, trying to hold it together and actually enjoy the fucking day, because so much resources is going into it, a lot of resources go into these things. And it's and in the moment what it means and all of that too, of course. Fucking uh like I get, like, on one level where you have this designer fucked up your dress, um won't fucking help you fix it, and is threatening to come fuck your shit up. She's not threatening to help you. She's threatening to come fuck your shit up, and you're just trying to have a good time. I get on one level, just trying to express anything to just be like, stay the fuck away. You know what I mean? So I wouldn't fault her for that energy, even if I disagree with where she went with it. You know what I mean? Like, and I do fault, and we need to talk about that. That's not okay, but if theoretically, if that didn't happen, I wouldn't, but okay, I'm sorry. So, but if Rayleigh had invited Cynderra, and Cynderra booked her flight up there, and that actually did happen, and then Rayleigh fucking blocked her knowing that she'd already paid to go up there and stuff, that would be like a huge, like, what the fuck, And so that event where I don't know what happened does change my mind in some ways about, like, my ability to understand the mindset, you know what I mean? Um, but yeah, fucking, so she had said that like she was gonna call the police on her if she showed up. And so like I was just like in my head, if it was the way where if Rayleigh had invited Cynderra and then did that to her after, in my head I was like, is that, what is that? Like that's like some that, you know what I mean? So that's why I was just like having that argument of like, is this a threat? Is this force? You know what I mean? Where I was going with that theoretically. But yeah, but anyway, um, and that's just all why, where my logic was, where my reasoning was, how that even got into the presentation. You know what I mean though? Because of the actual, regardless of like motive or intent, thinking consequences and thinking of how a past history of motive and intent led to the normalization of our current subconscious behavior. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, so that was just all I was like reflecting on, and that's how that particular slide got into this presentation, based on that. So yeah, and this concludes part two of our rehashing of the Cynderra Casze Raylee situation. Um, and yeah, just rolling the clips, because I was, questioning like, okay, well, am I saying things that are wrong? And I was just like, well, let me go look at what I've done, and I've reviewed all of my material. We've done the replays, and I felt like I was appropriately, um, doing reaction and commentary under fair use law as it relates to news, education, reporting, social commentary, social issues, um, and all of that. And so that's where my mindset is going. Even if that's my intent, if that's not the impact of my action, if my actions do harm others, I would like to work on that. But hey, so mitigating those issues, I did do a PR plan for Kaze. If Kaze feels that me discussing what happened is harmful, then maybe that PR plan will be something that helps her, and if her attorney can let me know the specific statements, that then we can look at, okay, if I don't have an actual source for that, like then let me go, but everything I've done, I believe I've got a source for. So you know what I'm saying? And so that's just all. So yeah, moving on. Next up, we're gonna get back into reading part two of our 60-hour marketing challenge. And where we had left off with this section is we had basically began between pages, like between the table of content. So I didn't realize until I go and reread this that actually the page, something happened with the formatting, and so my page numbers are get off at a certain point, and so does the alignment, to where the I had previously had each image at the top of each page, and somehow all of that got off. I don't know what I did. But yeah, fucking anyway. So these might be slightly off, but they're close enough. It's only like a one page difference. But so we get left off on our last coverage was on public communication. Today we're going to pick up on field marketing. So we left off on page 49-ish, and we're going to pick up about page 50-ish. And previously we had discussed direct versus indirect marketing. We had discussed also what was this ebook purpose, and about the challenges, the introduction, the objectives. We discussed direct versus indirect marketing, email marketing, letters and postcards, brand aesthetic, SEO, CRO, keywords, metadata, rich data, user experience, core web vitals, buyer personas and customer journeys, building customer personal relationship. We talked about Google tags and Facebook pixel, custom audience, lookalike audiences, and customer match. I can't speak. We've talked about Facebook ads, Google Microsoft ads, digital ad funnels, lead magnets, call to actions, copywriting versus creative writing, automations, integrations, customer service, basic sales, donor acquisition, public communication, field market. Oh, nope, and that's where we left off. So today we're going to pick up on field marketing. We're going to be talking about field marketing, networking, 5 steps to a conversation, law of averages, 6 impulse factors, SW3 equals N. We'll get to what the fuck that means in a bit. Kiss versus kill, 8 great working habits, mountain climb, objections and overturn, preemptive strike, bullet theory, suggestion, urgency, fear of loss, indifference, green light theory, feel good factor, rehash, KPI track sheet and ROAS report, digital analytics, gauges, increasing return on ad spend, research and development, templates and outlines, as well as conclusions. And so in the templates and outline, I got a marketing plan outline, executive summary template, marketing assessment template, brand audit template, brand charter template, brand equity report outline. We'll talk about that. And I've also got in the appendix with bonus material some JSON LD technical info about the street team and a challenge checklist as well. So yeah, let's get into it. So the first half of this was super technical. And so it was just more about setting up the actual systems in place in order to put your content into. And this next half is going to be there's still going to be some technicalities, but it'll be a bit more focused on the theory, the relationships, the communication, and the content, what you will be saying, and the messaging. You know what I'm saying? And motivating people to act type thing. Alrighty, so let me zoom in a little bit here. So first off, we're going to start off with field marketing. And our challenge here is for you to test your pitch by delivering it directly in the field using experiential marketing or virtually by going live on the platform of your choice. Do not pre-record. The purpose of this is to test how you perform when you have no do-over or could be better prepared. Direct marketing is also known as field marketing. This is where you speak to people, you relate to people, and you brand yourself. You take everything that you have learned so far, you take some time to prepare, and you make sure you feel good when you're delivering your pitch. So yeah, if you are having a bad mental health day, for example, or some fucked up shit happens, don't do this on that day. You know what I'm saying? Do it on a good day for you. You know what I mean? Unless you want to do some rejection therapy and fucking, I'm just kidding. Sorry. Okay, so then it goes, next we're going to discuss networking. Well, maybe you're discovering it, who knows. So, tell 3 people about your business and test your pitch on them. And you can tell them in any way you want. This could be text message. Go text 3 people. Go Facebook message 3 people. Or, you know what I mean? Get on live and try to see if you can talk to 3 people that view it. You know what I mean? Things like that. So, then it says if you were trying to get a sense of whether someone is interested in your offer, literally pay attention to your senses when you engage with them. Are they moving toward you or away from you? Is there equal communication? Are you both excited? Is there eye contact? Are you smiling? Pay attention to your senses as you engage in conversations with people and see if you can adjust the conversation accordingly to successfully pitch them on your business. Now, with some people, you may not, like in certain situations, depending on what you're selling, you may not want to be smiling. You know what I mean? It might be a more serious or somber thing that you are discussing. So, and a lot of times, like maintaining some personality, being friendly, making people feel welcome, and then communicating with them also to understand what makes them feel welcome so you can do that for them instead of expecting people to respond to one thing fit all because nobody's alike, that is good too. So paying attention to people and honoring like their body language too in a way if you can, I think is a good way to, when you're networking, gauge how are people responding to you in real time. You know what I mean? So 5 steps to a conversation. So you can edit your pitch or write a separate version to follow the flow of 5 steps to a conversation is your next challenge here. So, introduction, short story, presentation, close, and rehash are the 5 steps to a conversation for selling that we're going to discuss. And we'll get into rehash a bit more. But, so what I had said was, so obviously your pitch will sometimes be one-way communication, and other times it will be two-way communication. You will want to have your pitch in mind to use in both cases. Whether you are giving a speech or are in the field, you can use the same flow to guide people to your business. So with the pitch, you're going to do your best to control the flow of the conversation to get that desired outcome. The trick is to stay flexible. Do not just talk or sign at someone, but also respond to someone. So an introduction might go like this. Hey, super quick question. By chance, have you heard of Ink by Casse? By the way, my name is Lexi. What's yours? That's awesome. We are doing tattoos today. Give me 2 quick seconds and I'll show you what type of tattoos Ink by Casse does. And you know what I mean? If I'm looking, if like depending on your market, depending on your audience, you know what I'm saying? Like just giving you an example. Like, and obviously this is just like, you wouldn't want it, like if someone's like, so someone just like, fucking, you know, being like upset or something, you wouldn't want to come in too heavy with the whole, well, that's awesome type thing. But like I was just like typing shit like an example, and that's just some shit that came out of me, right? So I wouldn't like, and I probably like wouldn't be going around to be like that's awesome to everybody, because like who gives a fuck? But like making people feel good, and just making people feel like they're gonna be a part of something. And even if like you're just like basically using positive words to put people in a place where they're not being surrounded by negativity, when you are selling, that is what will, like, you can't be fake positive though. You have to be genuine. So if you don't act, like, don't say anything that isn't natural to you. It's just got to feel right also. But like at the same time, this is what I meant with the headspace, you know? So on a certain level, people don't want some fake positive bullshit. But on another level, if you are negative or aggressive, or if people think you're desperate or sad, they're gonna see you as begging. And I think that that right there is some like internal capitalism, like income disparity shit to work on there. Like, I don't agree with the concept of judging someone for asking for help, but it's like how it's a fact of how society will perceives people, in my opinion, how I've been treated and how I see others treated, right? That, so for me, I strongly want to change society, and then I also have to acknowledge where I don't think I can change society. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm one person. So there's like that type of thing, right? Okay, but anyway, so, and then my ebook, I say, this is where you would implement your turn and burn technique. Next is the short story. So you may or may not know, but um, Ink by Casse does touch-ups. I know you don't like your tattoo. If you want to do a touch-up or a cover-up, you can get one from Ink by Casse. Because don't worry, every problem's got a solution. Exactly, right? So if you point out what someone's problem could be and bring them to a solution. So you also, when you're like, I'm just bullshitting a pitch right now, you really got to be bullshitting it to your market. So if I was speaking to someone who actually wanted a tattoo and actually needed a cover up or a touch up, that would be actually probably pretty good wording that might encourage them to go buy if they had the money, right? But if I go talk to, like, if I'm just like walk up and into like some random place, and like, okay, so Ink by Casse is in Texas. If I go to some random place in New Orleans where I live and say, hey bitches, go get a tattoo in Texas, like that's not gonna fucking work. What? Who the fuck is gonna go, yeah, let me go fucking go to fucking Texas to get a tattoo when I can get one right here, right? So on another level though, you gotta have the right audience for your pitch, right? Um, so yeah, fucking But as you get comfortable, you can even have fun and joke around, and you can tell people how smart they are, that they must have gone to Harvard, which is a great segue to actually you can get that, use that info to get them, tell you how much more you can to help them. Um, so fucking, and by that, like, so what I mean is I'll ask people questions. So I'll do live streams on TikTok, and I'll be like, okay, who can tell me about search engine optimization? And someone will comment, SEO is when you make your website show up online better. And I'll be like, dude, you're smart as shit. Did you go where'd you go? Did you go Yale? Go to Harvard? You know what I mean? Like, some people will think that's funny or think it's building some type of communication, or you know what I mean? Like, in the right context, you can make jokes and be a little more personal. You don't have to be too formal. If you stick to the, hey, I'm gonna do nothing but focus on work, and I'm just gonna try and make you try talking and buying something, they feel that from you. People are just gonna be like, nah, I buy enough shit. I'm good. Go away. But if they feel like they're having a conversation with you, they might be more interested. You know what I'm saying? Um, so yeah, and so then once you make it through your short story, then you're able to give a presentation of your pitch. So we've talked about the introduction, so we introduce ourselves, and between the introduction and then actually telling our story, that's where we might do a turn and burn technique, where we try and bring them somewhere else, right? We introduce ourselves, we get them somewhere else, we share our story, we have a moment with them, right? And so at this point, if we're able to, if typically, if someone will stick with you through your introduction and your short story, they typically have a pretty high interest, level of interest. Typically, they will leave you by then. You know what I'm saying? Like, they got shit to do. They're gonna be like, nah, I've got milk in the car, gotta go, bye. You know what I mean? Like, fucking, so if someone is actually sticking through your short story, they're interested in something that you're saying, right? Typically. Or they're hate watching you, who knows. But yeah, so after that, it's time for the presentation of your pitch. So then you can be like, so, ink by Cass, she does touch up, she does cover up, so you can do full color, you can do black and gray ink. She also does micro tattoos, if that's an option too. You know what I'm saying? So this way you can get any type of visual aesthetic you were thinking to cover up the tattoo you didn't like. Isn't that amazing? Um, you know what I'm saying? Like, things like that. And so this is like where you want to tell people that you aren't there to make them sad, but to provide positive awareness and to give support. Because typically in business, the best way to get someone to buy, they're typically more likely to move away from something they don't like than towards something that's actually good for them. Um, it's just marketing theory. Um, and so typically in marketing, you often point out a pain point or a problem, and a lot of marketing will go to try and solve a pain point or solve a problem, um, with that in mind, right? And so that's tricky though, because sometimes with good marketing, people like it because they're like, you are helping me, thank you. It's sending the right message to the right person at the right time. With good marketing, using a pain point when you actually have a solution for it helps them, right? But then other times it can be tricky because people are like, this is something that I am struggling with. Stop trying to sell shit to me. You know what I mean? So you gotta do it just right. And you gotta be genuine as fuck. You know what I mean? Fucking, but yeah. And so at this point is where I ask them if they agree with what I'm doing. Like, you get consent, permission marketing as you go, right? So if they've stuck around for this long, at this point they're usually all about it. So you can take the time to say thank you and make them feel good. And sneaking in thank yous to your pitch and conversation makes people feel like they're doing something good for you by existing, which is true. So now it's time for the close. You go for the win. So then you say, so today I know we're just looking to support, to provide yourself with a new tattoo. And so since you haven't run away kicking and screaming, I know I can count on you to go book your session. Do you want to send a message? Facebook.com/inkbycass. You can get yourself a tattoo near Houston, Texas, and Pasadena, Texas. You know what I'm saying? Um, and so saying things like that, but you got to use your own wordage. I just bullshit type the fucking pitch up in there off the top of my head randomly. You need to use your own words because it has to sound like you. You know what I'm saying? And or your brand voice rather. And so yeah, at this point, people will naturally let you know what they are comfortable providing at this time, right? So by now, people are gonna be like, "Bitch, I don't want a fucking tattoo. Shut the fuck up." Or they are gonna be like, "Well, actually, I was thinking about getting a touch up, but I might actually just want a whole nother new tattoo. I might fucking leave this one as is," right? Like at this point, typically like you've presented your offer, you've sold yourself. People are gonna let you know what they want next. And if they're going to support you. And so, um, yeah, so some people are going to be ready to buy or donate, and some people they're going to want to know if they can find out more. But either way, follow through because you're close as if they're already going to support you because this increases your chances of conversions. Now, so by that, I just mean with keeping up the momentum and the confidence. You got to be careful with your words though because I don't mean treat them as if they're finishing the transaction if they didn't actually say they'd buy. You know what I mean? So let that marinate too. Use your discernment there. Um, so yeah, but either you'll get that money then and there, or a really good way to handle rejection is to say, no worries, we are just spreading awareness. Thank you for your time. Thanks for spending time with me. I appreciate you. I enjoyed spending time with you. You know what I mean? And then you say this leaves a good impression in their mind when they interact with the brand again. To contribute to those multiple touch points it takes to earn a purchase from them. So finally, you want to rehash your conversation with them to let them know the benefits of supporting each other beyond this initial interaction. So if they buy from you, what that's going to look like is a confirmation of their purchase. So you're going to say, thank you so much for spending time with me. Just remember, you booked your appointment with Ink by Cass. It's going to be next week. Okay? Don't forget to pay your deposit, right? So that would be the rehash there. Or say if they had already left, if they weren't, or depending on how they expressed they're not interested. If it's a hard shutdown, then I typically leave it at the "we're just spreading awareness, thanks for your time, bye" type thing. The moment I feel that they've shut down on me, that I say that and I stop. I don't push it. You know what I mean? But if it's like they end up rejecting the offer, but they've been staying around for the conversation, then I will still say, okay, well, if you ever want to book a tattoo, you can at facebook.com/inkbycass in near Pasadena, Texas. You know what I'm saying? You're going to get real taken care of. But yeah, you know what I mean? Okay. And I have another section on rehash, and we'll talk about why that's so important a bit more later. So let's also look at the law of averages. That's next. So the next challenge is to write a list of all the ways you can communicate with people and how many people you can communicate with in each way. And before we do that, I just want to remind you guys, you should actually go book a tattoo with Ink by Cass near Pasadena, Texas. So, law of averages. The challenge was write a list of all the ways you communicate with people and how many people you can communicate with in each way. And so, moving on. Are you meeting average engagement standards in your industry? Is there anything you can do to optimize your marketing strategy for overcoming the law of averages? The law of averages is a system we use to complete an action at for a reaction. Why? The 10% engagement rule for social media is an example of the law of averages. So is the Pareto Principle. By listing out the ways you are interacting with people and how they are responding to that, you can determine what efforts are working for you so that you can make decisions based off of that. For some people, you may want to use this as a reason to put more resources into doing what works. For others, you may want to use this as a reason to put more resources into doing what works. For others, you may want to use this as a reason to put more resources into doing what works. For others, you may want to use this as a reason to put more resources into doing what works. For others, you may want to use this as a reason to put more resources into doing what works. For others, you may want to use this as a reason to put more resources into doing what works. For others, you may want to use this as a reason to put more resources into doing what works. For others, you may want to use this as a reason to put more resources into doing what works. For others, you may want to use this as a reason to put more resources into doing what works. For others, you may want to use this as a reason to put more resources into doing what works. For others, you may want to use this as a reason to put more resources into doing what works. For others, you may want to use this as a reason to put more resources into doing what works. For others, you may want For others, you may want to fix what isn't working. You know intrinsically what you need to do. So yeah, things right here where I wish I explained things right here. I wish I explained what is the Pareto Principle in here. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't even talk about that. So this is the 80-20 rule. And it's named after this dipshit Vilfredo Pareto, am I saying that right? Who knows? But yeah. So the 80-20 is 80% of the work you do gets you 20% of the outcome or whatever, theoretically. So next up, 6 impulse factors. Our challenge here. Write an example of how each impulse factor can be used to improve an aspect of your marketing. Rewrite your pitch again to include at least one impulse factor. 6 impulse factors: fear of loss, indifference, greed, Jones effect, urgency, suggestive language. And I've also seen and have had heard of scarcity being used as a 6 impulse factor as well. So yeah, fear of loss is also known as fear of missing out. It's pretty easy to use the human need to be a part of something in your marketing, especially with nostalgia. Addressing indifference can show people why they should care about what you are doing. It is a form of preemptive strike. Preemptive strike is when you preemptively, meaning in advance, try to have a reason to invalidate any objections someone might already have for not buying from you. You know what I mean? So yeah. Overcoming someone's greed is a matter of letting them know how your company can be of maximum value and of minimum risk. Or, if it is very risky, why the risk is worth it. Jones effect is the psychological process of getting people excited about something. The idea comes from keeping up with people you perceive as having something you want. So yeah, Jones effect is the idea that, people don't like to be the first to do something or the last. They like to do it when everybody else is doing it. Keeping up with the Joneses. Urgency gives people a reason to act as soon as possible. Suggestive language encourages people to do something. So, next, we have SW3 equals N. Our challenge here is, now that you have an idea of what your ideal target market looks like, create a picture of what they are not as well so you can avoid that. What criteria could you list for the type of person that can be a buyer persona or where someone needs to be in life to be in your customer journey? Some will, some won't, so what? Next. That's the SW3 equals N. Some will, some won't, so what? Next. And it's about mindset. It's to keep you moving. A lot of people, they'll take some rejection and they give up on their sales. On a certain level, rejection is good because when people give you that feedback or critique, you can use that to understand why your offer wasn't good for them, or in terms of making either fixing the offer or putting the offer with a better market. You know what I'm saying? There's a certain amount of effort you should put into it before you're before you give up. I feel like some people, they give up before they've even advertised to a sample size big enough to find out if they have a viable opportunity. You know what I mean? So you don't give up. You just say some will, some won't, so what? Next. You keep going, you keep improving, etc. You know what I mean? So by having an idea of people you do not want to target, you will know where not to waste any resources. For example, if you sell alcohol, you will not want to target anyone under 21. Next, we have kiss versus kill. Our challenge. Look at what the last version of your pitch you have written. I can't speak. You know what the fuck I'm saying? Look at the last version of your pitch you have written. And yes, rewrite that shit again. What can you do to make it shorter? Are there filler words you can take out? Multiple points that could be consolidated? any information that has changed since then. What can you do to capture a sale quicker with your pitch? Keep it short and simple versus keep it long and loose. The longer your pitch is, the more likely you are to lose your audience. Rewrite your pitch to keep it as concise as possible. Take out any unneeded information. So yeah, KISS, keep it short and simple versus kill. So 8 great working habits. This time, record a video of your pitch. Then edit it until you are happy with it. Make sure it is captioned. Publish on at least 3 platforms such as YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. Why did I hyphenate TikTok? Huh. I wasn't really on TikTok. Damn. Twitter, LinkedIn, or your website. 8 great working habits. So 1, have a great attitude. Be on time. Be prepared. Have 100% work ethic. Maximize your territory in terms of like the space that you can market in. Maintain a positive attitude, knowing your what and your why, and take control. Now, when I say 100% work ethic, I don't mean like you need to be over extenuating yourself, right? But what I am saying is, I think for me, they're on a certain level. I can't not work just because I'm having a bad mental health day, or I fucking never be able to work, right? I have bad mental health days a lot, right? But there are certain things that I just don't do on bad mental health days. So do what you can with where you know you'll be able to put 100% of your work ethic into it, is what I mean, right? So being on time, it's on one level, I think, when people harp too much on colonial constructs of conforming to specific times to do things, like the 9 to 5 work life, I don't really agree with all that. Like, I feel like we can be more flexible, but on another level, it's like you gotta honor and respect your agreements and other people's time and be able to manage your time, right? Attitude is really important in terms of mindset, because knowing what you have a good mindset to be working on to give it your best work ethic will help you not make mistakes. So when I try to work on things when I'm mentally in a bad place, I end up making mistakes and I fuck shit up and I have to do more work for myself in the long run. So it's just better for me to know what I can specifically work on at specific times. And sometimes, though, you won't learn that without making those mistakes. Oops. But yeah, fucking with maximizing your territory, like if you're in person, you want to make sure you're doing the best of making your brick and mortar location aesthetically pleasing, right? And then like if you are online, like if you're running an ad, don't be running an ad for the whole United States if you can only feasibly, if you're a brick and mortar location, you can only serve people in person, right? Because that's going to be a waste of money. Unless you're e-commerce, then that's different. So like, like put your resources in the best place for your location. Then knowing like what you're doing and why you're doing it is what's going to keep you motivated. So if you don't know what or why you're doing shit, that's when you're just going to be like, why the fuck am I doing this? I don't know what I'm doing this for. So if you know why you're doing something and what you're doing it for, that will also help to maintain your motivation on your progress. And control. When you feel out of control, focus on what you can control. And that's what I like about marketing is these are the things that I've been able to focus on that I can control. You know what I mean? So yeah, so every time you interact with someone new for business, consider how they may perceive your attitude with them. How are you making them feel about doing business with you? Are you meeting deadlines? Are you showing up to meetings on time? Is your content being scheduled regularly? Are you ready to work when it is time to do so? What do you need to do to get ready? You are reading this book, so I already know your work ethic is 100%. You are amazing. Maximizing territory just means making the most of the space you are in when you are there. If you are at an event, don't just stay in one spot. Move around and network. It is pretty easy to show up with a good attitude, but what do you need to do to keep it up? What are you doing and why are you doing it? What can you control? How do you feel about your control? So yeah, focus on your mental health too. So our next up we have mountain climb. Our next challenge. Make a list of where you want to be in 1 year, 5 years, and 10 years. Then outline some bullet points of what steps you have to generally take to reach those goals. Next, write what you can do right now towards your goals. We control our pitch, pace, and attitude. That's all we can do. Marketing is a cumulative investment, very similar to climbing a mountain. All of your marketing efforts add up. You start off at the bottom, and as you climb, you will find that your elevation rises exponentially. One of the biggest barriers to entry in business is simply maintaining the resources long enough to keep going. And if you can just keep going, you will be fine. Because of the fact that most businesses fail after 10 years, search engines care a lot about longevity. If you can just maintain an active online presence, then the work you are doing will add up. None of it is for nothing. You will get somewhere. When you write out what you have done, what you are doing now, and where you want to go, you will be able to analyze your path to make it happen. You may notice the cumulative effects of your marketing by now just through the books. All the challenges are intertwined and built on each other. Objections and overturns. Next challenge. Write out all the reasons someone might not take action with your business. Then respond to each of those objections by writing out your solutions to those problems once they occur. Overturns are reasons to not let an objection get in the way of a decision. When you are prepared with overturn responses, you will be ready to counter any argument when presented with objections in the moment. The practice of answering objections will allow you to come up with new, valid ones on the spot as needed as well. Make sure you are sharing all of this information with anyone on your team that might need it. This shit is great training material. Then we're into Preemptive Strike. Our next challenge. Look at the solutions you have for any objections you might receive in business. Then, write out the actions you can take before a problem strikes. Also known as damaging admission, preemptive strikes attempt to counter objections before they arise. Along with countering objections, these can be used to build trust because of transparency. Think of preemptive strikes like general strikes. The idea is to get people behind your cause. Preemptive strikes can be a change in your pitch to address common pushback, or something like alleviating a problem people have in order to do business with you. For example, if people have to travel far to get to you, you can offer to deliver or consult online. Next, we have bullet theory. Our next challenge is to choose a variable of your marketing to A/B test and create a plan that you can immediately begin executing. The bullet theory is known as the hypodermic needle theory. This is the idea that the media, or needle, injects messages into the audience's mind and can cause changes in the audience's behavior or psyche towards the message. A/B testing is literally bullet theory in action. You are actively testing what actions the people can take to cause others to have a change in behavior or opinion towards a message. So in marketing, there are two types of testing when you're testing something. You can do A/B testing or multivariate testing. Typically, you often want to do A/B testing to see if one item influences someone's ability to make a decision. So it could be as simple as changing the color of a button. That's A/B testing. When you have only testing one change at a time. But if you're testing multiple changes, that's called multivariate testing, where you are testing if a variety of changes would impact someone's actions. So yeah. Alrighty, then we have suggestion. So our next challenge is to tell 10 people how what you are doing with your business is beneficial to you and suggest that they find their own version of that. Suggestion is the psychological process of guiding the thoughts, feelings, or behavior of another person. A company's ability to use the power of suggestion is one of the many reasons brand activism has become so important. Due to social responsibility and the realization that companies have the ability to influence others, there is a push for companies to use their platforms for the greater good. By having just quick conversations or reaching out and letting 10 people know what you are doing, you can suggest that they align their actions with yours. And what this does is get you in the practice of using the power of suggestion and conversation so you can then implement it into your selling. You know what I'm saying? So it's testing it in conversations before you put it into the pitch. So then we have urgency. Our next challenge is to tell 3 people personally why it is urgent that people do business with you and post this information on 3 different platforms. Why is it so urgent to work with you that it would be bad if someone did not do business with you? How will doing business with you alleviate this urgency? A sense of urgency is felt as insistence. It is a force or impulse that constrains. I think I meant to put that incentivize, that can incentivize or constrain. Oops. Anyway, people do not act until they have a reason to. So, give them a reason to act now. So with that, like for example, with the ink by Casze thing, some urgency could be we had a Halloween promo. So if they wanted a deal on basically a tap out session, they could have done that for Halloween, right? For example. So that would have been where we would have done urgency, where, well, if you want to do the tap out, do it by Halloween. But now our next deal here is gift cards. If you buy a gift card, you get a free hoodie for Christmas. It's a Christmas promo. And so that's the urgency. You want a free hoodie? Get a fucking gift card. You know what I'm saying? But yeah. Now we're moving on into the fear of loss. And our next challenge here is to make 3 lists. The riskiest parts of doing business with you, what makes it worth it to do business with you, and how you follow through with customers. Update your social media with this information. How can you minimize the risk of doing business with you while maximizing value? Take 3 steps to put in place a system for responding to fear of loss by answering and acting on these questions. 1. How can you make the riskiest part of doing business with you safer? 2. What can be done to make sure that doing business with you is worth it? 3. How can you follow through on making customers feel comfortable? When there is fear of loss, it signals an attachment to the construct that is at risk of being lost. The fear of loss has caused many to freeze into a mode of inaction in their lives. So yeah, when you alleviate that fear of loss, you will alleviate the inaction in the life. You know what I'm saying? That makes sense. So yeah. Next we have indifference. So our challenge here is to make a video that's at least 30 seconds about why your work is important and share it on 2 platforms. Why should people care about what you do? What makes your work important and who is it important for? People have a lack of interest, concern, or sympathy towards issues they are indifferent to. They may regard such things as unimportant. Remind people that care about what you should do why they should remember what makes them feel passionate about your business. So, With tattoos, it is art. Some people, we could harp on just the fact that art for art's sake, you know what I mean? And that is enough itself to get some people. Other people, it might need to be more personal, where we would harp on it's your memory, your choice for you to take on your body forever, if you want that. You know what I'm saying? Like, so there's different ways in which you can make people care about what they're getting. Um, and so a lot of people are just like, why would I care about getting a tattoo? Well, for people who have a lot of tattoos, they might be like, well, for people who don't have a tattoo, then you could probably argue with well, it's a wonderful memory for you to have. It's something that you get to design, that you create for yourself, and, leaving a mark on yourself that lasts forever, right? That can mean something. And then for people who have many tattoos already, it can be about a healing journey. It can be about, something that makes you feel good about yourself, that you want to do for yourself, right? And so when you're reminding people that they're getting the tattoo for themselves, that's where you take away the indifference, because it's for them. You know what I mean? If they're into it, if that makes sense. For example, next we got green light theory. And so our challenge here is to make a plan to reset while you are working. Spend some time testing reset methods. And this could be your mental reset. And so if you smoke weed, it could be go and smoke some fucking weed, bitch. Um, Listen to music, drink your coffee, whatever it is that you do. Unless you have a job you shouldn't be smoking weed at, don't do that. You know what I'm saying? Um, but yeah. So, the green light theory is the idea that if you're in a vehicle, not every traffic signal you come across will be green. There will always be red lights we have to deal with. So, what can you do to make yourself feel as good as it feels to hit every green light on your way somewhere? Resetting is giving yourself a system to have a time and place to deal with your issues during your workflow. That way, you can maintain a positive attitude, knowing everything you need is taken care of. Take some time to consider how you can reset for yourself. Then we want to discuss the feel-good factor. Our challenge here is to go live on at least one platform about what you can do through your business that makes people feel good. Sales can be increased through the customer experience by having a good attitude. Why? Because attitude is simply the way you make others feel. When you show other people why they should feel good about doing business with you, you are giving them confidence in your business. Confidence is literally just trusting in who you are and what you're saying. So if you have confidence and people think that you trust yourself and who you are and what you're saying, then they'll be more likely to trust you too. Because if you don't trust yourself, someone's going to be like, why would I trust you to do something you don't trust yourself to do? But if you come off as confident, you're coming off as someone who trusts yourself to get this done, they're going to be more likely to trust you too. You know what I mean? Okay. Now let's move into rehash. So, our challenge. Why should people continue to do business with you even after the initial sale? Post this information on 3 different platforms. If applicable, add this to your receipts, invoices, or thank you emails. So rehash stands for remember everyone has a sale hidden. It's different from business consolidation, which deals with mergers and acquisitions, etc. Sales consolidation gives people a reason to continue buying beyond an initial purchase. The sales consolidation process involves 3 steps: encoding, storage, and retrieval. During the pitch or sale, you are encoding a memory into someone's brain of what your business does. After that, they process their experience with you and the memory becomes stored in their mind. Finally, That memory is retrieved when the person is promoted to recall their time with your business. Using sales consolidation, you can use your time after the close to let people know why continuing to do business with you will benefit them. For example, if you're asking for a form of automatic withdrawal from a bank account via donation or subscription, you can remind people what will happen long term after provide your information, their financial information, so they remembered why they followed through with you to begin with. So, say that they're booked an appointment to book a tattoo, be like, great, I cannot wait to tattoo this symbol that is going to be a symbol of your dead mother on you. So you can remember your mom forever. In honor of your mom, rest in peace. I'm just kidding. You wouldn't say it like that. But basically, when you've confirmed and you're being like, okay, we're going to do your mom's memorial tattoo, that's basically where it's just like you're reminding them they're doing this for themselves in honor of their mother to go get that tattoo. You know what I'm saying? Like, for example, right? So that's what you do with Rehash. You're reminding them why they're following through with you, so that way they don't look at their fucking credit card. They're like, what is this charge? Let me cancel it and dispute it. Right? You know what I mean? Okay. Okie dokie. Now we're going to hit on the KPI track sheet and ROAS report. But before we get there, I'm going to take a little break, get me some water, and just relax just a second because I am stumbling over my words over here. I am stumbling. So I will be right back. 2 shakes of a lamb's tail, 15 to 20 minutes tops, maybe before, but who knows. Okay, so next we are, wrong button. Next we are gonna fucking check out the KPI track sheet and ROAS report. So our next challenge here is to develop a KPI track sheet and ROAS report template for your marketing. And that's the challenge. But don't worry about filling out the templates. We're going to do that next challenge. Just focus on what key performance indicators you want to track and how you would like to monitor your return on ad spend. So, KPI means key performance indicators. And so that's when you're going to decide what specific numbers are going to indicate to you that how your performance is doing. So typically everybody includes their general revenue. They might be including their average order value, order conversion rate. Typically people have different they can have different KPIs for their business. Sometimes their KPIs can be like, say we're Ink by Cash, she could be like, I want you to sell this amount of black and gray, this amount of color, you know. Those could be your KPIs. So you decide what are your key performance indicators. It can be anything you want. And then you're going to decide how you would like to monitor your return on ad spend. So, a return on ad spend, there's different ways of tracking that. I like to do different calculations, and I will be using all of them to gauge my spend. So certain people, they will only look at your return on ad spend. Some, to monitor your return on ad spend, they're also going to look at your cost per action. They're going to look at your cost per lead. They're going to look at your conversion rate. They're going to look at your customer acquisition costs. You know what I'm saying? They're going to be thinking about your customer lifetime value. They're going to be looking at different variables to consider what is the long-term and short-term return on ad spend. I will be looking at a mix of all. You know what I mean? And so for you, you're going to decide where you need to put your resources. So some people, when they're just starting out, because it can be more expensive to invest in a long-term bigger purchase in terms of like customer acquisition costs, and you're considering customer lifetime value, some people will justify higher expenses because of a longer lifetime value, right? But what about the people who are too broke to worry about what the customer lifetime value is because they need to make sure they're getting a return on investment for their dollar now, right? So some people, they will spend more than what they know that a lead is going to cost them to buy if they know that they can close it and that they can justify that because of the long-term retention of the deal, if I'm making sense. So that can be different for everybody because this is a little bit, but yeah. So my book, I put the data captured by financials, the Facebook pixel, and Google tag can tell a lot about what is happening in real time. However, it can be overwhelming to look at all this data when you want a quick overview of the bigger picture to make decisions. Besides the digital tracking available using Facebook Insights and Google Analytics, I like to track the result of my ads using a key performance indicator track sheet and a return on ad spend report. What I like about these reports is that the data can be whatever a company needs it to be to track what is successful for the person that uses the data. For the KPI track sheet, the purpose would be to see how key indicators are performing, such as product sales or digital downloads, as well as which ads are running to those indicators. The ROAS report would break down each campaign, every ad in each campaign, the amount spent, the duration rate, how much the product or service sold for, and the return on ad spend, the difference between the amount spent and earned from the ad. The point is to find out what ads generate the most money. Okay. So next up, we're going to think about digital analytics. So our challenge here is to fill out our KPI and track sheet and our ROAS report templates for the last month to have a marketing baseline. Then fill out either weekly, monthly, or quarterly, depending on business needs. So if you haven't set up, your Google Analytics, Google Tags, Facebook Pixel, certain things, you might not have as much data, but you could still use your post metrics. You just use the data you got. Um, so yeah, fucking in here I put Google Analytics, Google Data Studio, and Facebook Insights are usually what people are talking about when they mention digital analytics these days in terms of marketing. Well, in terms of about a good 75% of marketing is your basic marketing on this shit. So yeah, there is also advanced marketing like on over the top networks or programmatic advertising. Display advertising gets a little more complicated, but that's a different story. Fuck it. Anyway, for most people in business, what you need to know to get going, generate your return on ad spend, where you begin is with your social media and your search engine marketing. You know what I'm saying? And so that's what this more applies to. And then there's other types of marketing as well, but yeah, fuck it. Um, and then I put the most important metric I use is return on ad spend. Next, I look at the click-through rate to gauge performance of ad copy. After that, I compare the amount of views or impressions my ad received to its engagement to analyze the strength of my target market. Yeah, and that's kind of like how I tell, so before I was discussing keeping people engaged and this like discerning when they leave you, how to be like, I'm just spreading awareness, thanks, have a good day, things like that. And then I also forgot to mention, this is a good part, where we have the pitch. The reason that pitch is broken down, you think of your pitch is broken down into 5 parts when you write it. The reason being is so you can count how many people you can keep at each place. You just do tally marks. How many people do you keep? How far down do you get them, right? So you can even do it in person. Um, when you have a piece of paper on hand. Fucking things like that. And it's like a game. You treat it like a game. You just see because you just play it like numbers. See how far you can get the number. You know what I mean? Maybe I shouldn't say it's like a game. These are people's money and like real life and shit. But, uh, I mean, why the fuck do people gamble when you can run ads? Anyway, fucking. I feel like advertising is just socially acceptable gambling. Damn, man, I'm sorry. Okay, I blame Cheech and Chong. Okay, fucking. Where was I? Did I keep reading this shit? I think I did. I totally did. Okay. Next, let's talk about gauges. I was just talking about gauges. Anyway, so our challenge here is to test your pitch through gauges by tracking how long people stuck around for it, how many closes you have gotten, and whether people responded to continuing to purchase from you over the last week. In terms of marketing, gauges are how far along you retain a person in their buyer's journey. So if you spend an hour pitching however many people you can in an hour, either digitally or physically, So some people, they'll be doing direct marketing, like they'll be at events talking to people, right? So you could be doing that. Like in New Orleans, there's this marketing agency. Fuck, I forgot the name of it all of a sudden. But they did this marketing blend. Why the fuck am I blanking on the name of this goddamn agency? Okay, if you Google New Orleans marketing blend, then the name of the agency is there because they did it with the New Orleans chapter of the American Marketing Association. The fuck? Why can't I think of their name, man? Fuck. Anyway, so those bitches do their thing, right? For example, why am I bringing them up? Shit, fuck. Well, that's upsetting. I spent so long blanking on the name. Now I'm like, fuck, why am I talking about them? Hold on. Let me scroll up here. Oh, yeah. Okay, that's an example of a physical event that I go to where I'll be talking about myself networking. And the reason being is because in marketing, there's always, there's always more work to do. And so when you network, that's how you get those referrals and that extra work and that mutual development, right? You can meet people who you either might refer you for work for clients, or is someone you would actually genuinely need to work with or want to refer someone to. You know, like I don't do videography, so I go there to meet filmographers. You know what I mean? Things like that. In content production. So yeah, fucking finding networking events for you. And for some people, it could be about finding the type of people in your audience. So it's just like for my tattoo artists, anyone that does tattoos, but you know, like the being out around shows is a good thing for a tattoo artist because it would be just very easy to network people. Be like, okay, I do tattoos. You want a tattoo? Come hit me up sometime. You know, like having like um business cards on hand for that type thing. Like you know your market and you be where your audience is at, and you know what I'm saying? Fucking, but yeah. But that's also why people like people who are rich, they love treating poor people like they're charity cases. So you can be poor as shit and market to a rich person if you have a good thing to sell them. It's the truth. But you can't really be that rich. You can be that rich and market to some poor people because you have like the bootlickers of the world who, you know what I'm saying? But then there's other people who they're just like they find you very unrelatable, and you can't market to them because you don't have common ground and you're not able to connect with them. You know what I'm saying? Fucking, because you could probably end world hunger, but you're choosing not to. Not you, but the Jeff Bezos of the world. Unless you're Jeff Bezos. I highly doubt he'd ever watch this. If he did, though, fuck him. You know what? I didn't think that um, certain people would be watching my live streams, but then one of them subscribed to me, and I was like, oh shit. Oh man, you ever get someone subscribed to you and you're like, you really watch me? Holy fuck. Anyway, because I was talking some shit. I was talking a lot of stuff. Whatever, we're here now. Fucking. But where was I? Shit. So sorry. Okay, gauges. So, in person, tally marks. Okay, go to physical events. Digitally, you obviously have your insights and analytics. Digital gets tracked for you, which is nice. So yeah, fucking in terms of marketing, gauges are how far along you retain a person in their buyer's journey. Spend an hour pitching however many people you can in an hour, either digitally or physically as well. Did I already read this? Fuck it, whatever. Tally how many people stick around for each step of your conversation to identify which parts of your pitch are working / need work. Digitally, you can. Do you really articulate / out loud like when you read that? Because I never really hear that actually. Do you just ignore that? Do you say or when you're working or need work? Like why do you even put a slash? On hindsight, let's reflect on that. But okay, my bad. So digitally, you can use heat maps to determine where on your site the pitch is working for your copy. Or using insights, you can see how long people stuck around for a video and where that is in your pitch using the timing. Yeah. So, how to increase return on ad spend. So, identify a test budget to run ad spend. Test a retargeting ad on Facebook to your landing page using the Pixel. That's something I would recommend. But my client, for example, she doesn't like to take bookings on her site. She prefers to take them to Facebook Messenger, for example. So if that is you, for example, do it where you like your sale to happen. Most people not most people, but a lot of people in business, it's some sort of landing page on their website. But other people, it could be like an action such as messaging you. So make it that where the sale will happen, right? So because some people could be called, they prefer you to call them. But yeah, is there anything you can do to this landing page to make sure it is optimized for the ad you are running? Each ad should be earning generally for like $4 for every one spent. There are some industries where the average could be expected closer to 2 to 1, but I really feel like you can typically get up to 4 to 1 market. I don't know. But the industries where it's closer to 2 to 1 are typically those where it's a way lower value item, in my opinion. You know what I mean? But yeah, but typically though, you would still get the customer lifetime value long term in terms of the people you retain. So each ad should earn $4 for every $1 spent. Using A/B tests, I gradually optimized to perform better each time based on the results of past performance. Okay, so whenever I wrote this, one of the things that I was doing at the time when I really didn't want to be spending money on advertising to people who are not interested in me or don't know me already, because when you're low on funds, one way to reduce overhead can be to cut down on your broad prospecting, and in certain cases you can still be doing pretty good, but when you need to scale, you can't do that because you won't be reaching a new market. But if you're not in a place where you're worried about scaling, you're just more worried about increasing your sales, this could work still for you. But if you're trying to scale, it's not necessarily a good strategy because you're not going to be reaching a new market. But am I making sense? But you're okay. Um, but if you have high enough traffic already, and that's another thing I should have did. I articulate the traffic in here. I probably should have done that too. So if you need traffic too, so this doesn't work when you don't have traffic flow coming through. Um, if you know what I'm saying. So you gotta let all that marinate. But yeah, So I put using A/B tests, I gradually optimized to perform better each time based on the results of past performance. I'm able to test how a change impacts a campaign while minimizing risk by identifying a control and a variable. At this point, you should have a page that you have been driving traffic to. So test out retargeting people that have already expressed interest. Anytime you are not seeing a result, set a timeline you feel safe with. Then decide to stop doing what isn't working then. Test something else out. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And that's how you improve and you learn. And you keep what works, you leave what doesn't, and then you keep going. And you use your numbers to tell you where the problem is by going to where the numbers drop off. Like you look up your average engagement rates for every step. Wherever you're below that, you go work on that until you improve further along. You start at the beginning, one thing at a time, and then you keep going. You know what I'm saying? All right. Next up, next section, research and development. So, our challenge here is to identify a control and variable for the last ad placed. Then come up with goals for the key performance indicator track sheet and return on ad spend report for this ad based on the expected results from the budget available. Next, write out what needs to happen for your ad to meet these goals. Lastly, look at the ad set up to see if any adjustments need to be made in order to meet your goals. One of the most important parts of marketing is always trying something new. However, it is important to make sure these new ideas are profitable before investing too much money. The key to beginning research and development is setting aside a budget you are comfortable parting with. Once you get started, you will optimize for that 4-to-1 return on ad spend. Then, going forward with your research and development, will most likely have a baseline to start off less risky with. But the first time around is like the first pancake. Expect that you might need to use the first pancake to get the temp right, shape right, timing right, etc. Or some people need more pancakes, but you know what? We all learn, we all do shit in our own process. Everybody has different tools and materials available to them. You know what I'm saying? We're all on our own fucking journey or whatever. Some shit like that. Okay. Now we're going to talk about templates and outlines. Our challenge. Copy and paste the templates and outlines provided in this book into documents that you can edit. Or come up with your own versions altogether. Gather all the notes you have taken so far from the 60-hour marketing challenge to use in these documents. Then double check that your reset method is working out for you. So, here we have templates and outlines, and so I put, so the templates and outlines don't get confused with the commentary. The templates and outlines are in this dark magenta shade in the video, in not the video, I'm thinking about this video, in the book. So I have a marketing plan outline here. And the challenge part says fill out your marketing plan outline. It doesn't have to be this big long thing. Lists will do for the most part. And so to tell you what I suggest you include, as much as is relevant to you, but don't include anything you don't want to do. Fuck it, it's your shit, not mine. So I recommend a cover page, generally a photo of a logo or flyer related to purpose of the plan, or some type of photo or video or something. Fucking then a table of contents. Executive summary. You provide at a glance the details of your company's resources for purposes of the marketing and your brand imagery. About the event or the purpose of this plan. You put your business team, your mission plan, mantra, slogan, brand elements. With goals, you have goals for purpose of money. Uh, well, obviously money in business, but I meant to say company. I don't know why I said money. I guess money is on my mind. I got my mind on my money on my mind. Okay, I'm sorry. It's the hell of a distraction when you shake your behind. Anyway, so goals for purpose of company. You should always have goals. You should have goals. Details your company. Wait, why can't I speak? Detail your company's current 2 to 5 goals. Goals for purpose of plan. Each goal for purpose of plan should support a goal for company. 6, target market. So we're going to look at your past performance, look at your customer history and loyalty, measurement in years, lifetime value to your business, average cash provided over time. We're going to look at demographics, so age, gender, location, income, education, profession. We'll look at sociographics, so interests, musical taste, goes to shows like, goes to festivals like, stylistic preferences. And then we look at a SWOT analysis. So I like to make bullets under each category and then sum up my conclusions about the company after. So strengths and weaknesses are internal, and opportunities and threats are external. And SWOT stands for strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. And it's when you look at your internal and external pros and cons. You know what I'm saying? Things that you can control, things you can't control. So then we look at our competitive advantage. So we have our market differentiators. What makes your business better than any other business in your market? Why can't anyone else replicate it? If it is easily replicable, is it not a differentiator but an additional experience? And then additional experience, skills, and technology. Credentials to qualify what will help this business succeed, as well as the value provided to customers. Then we're going to think about 9, building customer-based brand equity. Brand audit. This is going to detail how the company sees itself. You're going to discover how consumers see the company, look at how company can manage customer expectations, and monitor the experience of the guest so that the company can improve the quality. After that, we're going to think about the brand association. So our ingredients, the software, endorsements and scholarships, celebrity referrals, and or any brand that your brand uses to create an offer. So that's how brand audit can be purchased. For example, what is this cut off? That's unfortunate. What the fuck did that say? Damn, there's a lot of typos and issues in this book. This is why I've been lowering my review of this thing. So I had given the first half a 3 out of 5 stars, and we'll see where the second half goes at the end, by the end. But like, someone should really get onto the author about this shit. Anyway, and then it says community and spiritual leadership outreach. So, charity. How will you give back? Stakeholder integration. Who is involved with you and how? Will you reach out to others? So yeah, and I'm thinking about timeline. This is the place to create timelines, schedules, and calendars applicable to your plan. So we could think about our show date, our venue confirmation date, the graphics to be approved date, graphics to be a confirmed date, graphic release timeline. I feel like there should be a space here. And then we're going to think about street team. And we're going to look at business to business timeline. Think about the timeline where the street team will reach out to other businesses, like putting up handbills or posters somewhere, giving out free samples to employees. And then you can think about business to consumer timeline, where your street team will reach out directly to prospects, such as samples or booths at events and festivals, and handing out flyers directly to people. And then we'll consider financials. We'll look at our budget, our return on ad spend report, our key performance indicator track sheet. We'll put those two things that I already made you do up in here. And then the action plans. These are going to be the actual steps to support the goals of the plan. And it should include bullet points with all the information pertinent to making the plan happen. And one of the things also I recommend doing, so all of this work, if you actually do challenges and write out these pictures and all these things I've been telling you to do, you can then go take the shit that you put into the pictures, copy, paste into this plan. And if it doesn't, you can't do that, then you need to rewrite your pitch because they need to align. You know what I'm saying? So yeah. So then I have our executive summary template here. And we have a challenge to complete an executive summary template for your marketing. And on one side, I include the name of the business, your slogan, address, phone number. So the address, I only recommend doing if you're a brick and mortar, or you do things at specific places type thing. If you're online, don't put that shit unless you want to put your area served. If you only serve a specific area, or you do that. Or if you go to places, you serve an area, maybe do that. But you don't have to, all of this, take what works for you, leave what doesn't. Don't put shit that doesn't work for you. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, so address, phone number, then website, any social media links, your hours of operation, if they're applicable, your email, anyone important position, contact, you can list. So yeah. And then I would put sections for about your company, like who are they, why we care about the slogan, how the slogan ties into the company, like your slogan in action, and objectives, an overview of what your company is currently working on, what they want to work on in the future, how they can improve, how are they achieving goals. We're going to look at positioning, so your brand positioning, and brand elements. This is how you want people to see your business. What is the problem? What can you offer that no one else can? And how will you deliver that to people? Then we're going to look at our services and products. We're going to talk about how we are here to help. What can we do? Answers to the problems that you offer. Also, we're going to look at, you can also put in events in here. Like what's coming up or what you're planning for if you want to advertise that. And I also would put in resources, such as a brief feedback overview of companies' use of resources and the current moment that the summary is for. So this could take the form in the budget, net income statement, anticipated revenue, etc. And you want to measure your time, money, and the flexibility of your resources, such as people, materials, venue, etc. Whatever's relevant to you. And then I have a marketing assessment template here I recommend you check out. So this is where you can grade yourself. You can assess your marketing with the template. So rating your firm's marketing assessment system. So the higher the score, the better the assessment system. And you can also use this assessment system if you are shopping for a marketing agency. You know what I'm saying? Or if you're wanting to assess the performance of anyone executing on your marketing. And I recommend my clients do this to me. You know what I mean? So, 1. Does the senior executive team regularly and formally assess marketing performance? So we have yearly, we have Oh, these are the scores. So yearly to 6 to monthly, I would score a 10. Quarterly a 5. More often about a 0, rarely 0. We're just making this easy for the numbers, so fuck it. 10s, 5s, and 0s. It's like, I think that's what the fuck I did there. So what does the senior executive team understand by customer value? Um, so don't know, we are not clear about this would be 0. Value the customers to the business as in customer lifetime value would be 5. Value of what company provides from the customer's point of view would be 10. Sometimes one, sometimes the other, I would call a 10. You know what I wish? So on this one, I ranked it from 10s to 0s, and this one I ranked it from 0s to 10. I wish I was consistent with this shit. Fuck. This is why I give myself bad reviews. Anyway, but that was past me, so it's fine. Fucking, and then I fucking wrote, how much is the time cost the senior executive team give to marketing issues? So about 30% is 10. 20 to 30% I would give a 6. 10 to 20% a 4. Less than 10% is a 0. Where the fuck am I getting these numbers from? I was just making shit up about how I feel. Y'all put whatever the fuck you want. Score it how you want it. I'm just scoring shit. You know what I mean? So, 4, does the business/marketing plan show the non-financial corporate goals and link them to market goals? So, no or no plan, 0. Corporate, no. Market, yes, 5. Yes to both, 10. So then we go, does the plan show the comparison of your marketing performance with competitors or the market as a whole? So no to both, plan, 0. Yes, clearly, 10. And in between is 5 for me. So what is your main marketing asset called? So if it's brand equity, 10. Reputation, 10. Other term, we give that 5. Why am I lowering that? Because it's not relevant to me. Probably shouldn't do that. Maybe it's fine. We have an old term, 0. Yeah, whatever, fuck it. So it's what's important to me. Do it based on what's important to you. You know what I'm saying? Okay, so next we had, does the senior executive team's performance review involve a quantified view of the main marketing asset and how it has changed? So, I wish I explained all this shit because, like, people might not know what the fuck I'm talking about. You know what I'm saying? And past me wasn't like, I would just be saying what's in my head because I'm like, you know what? This is it. But then I wouldn't connect that I sometimes need to explain and articulate what these things mean to people who don't know these words already. You know what I mean? But yeah, fucking so yes to both would our rate is from 10 to 0. Yes to both, yes, but only financially. Brand valuation or whatever, or not really. But yeah. And then, has the senior executive team quantified what success would look like 5 or 10 years from now? So we could put no, yes, don't know. Were the answers I was thinking about, like, and I rated those no and don't know, 0 and 10, yes. Yes, 10. Right, like it. Okay, and then I put, does your strategy have quantified milestones to indicate progress toward that success? And by quantified, again, I just mean, are you putting numbers on this shit? So if it's no, 0, yes, 10, what strategy? 0. So then 10, are the marketing performance indicators seen by the senior executive team aligned with these milestones? If it's no, then that's a 0. If it's yes regarding external customers and competitors, I'd give that like a 7. If it's yes regarding internal, like employees and innovativeness, I would give that like a 5. Because, obviously keeping employees happy matters, but like, I guess I rated that lower because I was like, it doesn't really matter if you think you're doing a good job if your customers aren't happy with what you do, is where I was thinking. But yes to both, I put 10. But yeah, and then I put brand audit template in here. And so the challenge here is to fill out a brand audit to gauge how elements of the brand are performing. So the brand audit includes a company mind map, which is a graph of words associated with brand identity, and it can take the place in the form of a tree diagram, circle graph, or a web, or whatever the fuck works for you. So, like your brand imagery, and the words that you associate with your brand identity. You know what I'm saying? So then I would look at your internal consumer marketing. So we look at your brand positioning. So this is where you're going to see if how you want to be perceived is aligned with how you're seeing others perceive you, right? So we're going to look at your between your internal and your external marketing. So internal brand positioning, you're going to describe the company in terms of how the company wants itself to be perceived. How is this positioning represented in the company's offerings? You're going to look at your product strategy. Perceived quality. So details and attention to the value delivery system. Are you on the path to providing value? And we're going to think about after marketing. So what do people think about your product? Okay, then think about your pricing strategy. So consumer price perceptions. What prices do people normally pay for your offerings? What type of value are you looking to provide? And I will try to remember to link in the description of this video another video I did on how I articulate the way I price my offer and sell at that price point. So then I have a section here for setting prices to build brand equity. So one, are you setting the right prices for your target market? What type of prices, oh, there's a typo here. That's unfortunate. Do people in your target audience's income level generally pay for an offering like yours? Are your sales too low to cover your costs? Or are your prices too high to close sufficient sales? And then we'll think about external consumer marketing. So we'll look at brand awareness. So think about evidence that people are aware you exist should be analyzed here. And we'll think about the brand image. What people think of your existence should be torn apart in this section. Yeah, I always tell people hate me and people don't like to hear me talk. And the reason I say that is I would rather lower your expectations and see them. Maybe I shouldn't self-deprecate so much though, because that's not confidence, is it now? Shit. Conundrum. Anyway, fucking. But we're here now. So channel strategies, direct channel, push strategies, marketing efforts at point of sale, indirect channel, pull strategies, your marketing efforts to your new customers. So push and pull. Hey. So then we're going to think about leveraging secondary associations. So co-branding, brand building, and brand alliances. So thinking of your secondary associations or like ingredient branding. So consumer co-branding evaluation. Do consumers like what we are doing and the products we use? And then you want to think about local community leader and celebrity endorsements. So we'll also think of cultural and musical events as well as third-party sources and brand inventory. Like how do we present our products and services to guests? Another template I have in here is the brand charter template. And I recommend writing out a charter for your brand. So define the firm's view of branding and brand equity and explain why it is important. Describe the scope of key brands in terms of associated products and manner by which they have been branded and marketed as revealed by historical company records as well as the most recent brand audit. Specify what the actual and desired equity is for brands at all relevant levels of the brand hierarchy. For example, at both the corporate and the individual product level. The charter should define and clarify points of parity, which is how they're the same, points of difference, and the brand mantra. Explain how brand equity is measured in terms of the tracking study and the resulting brand equity report. Suggest how marketers should manage brands with some general strategic guidelines, stressing clarity, consistency, and innovation in marketing thinking over time. Outline how to devise marketing programs along specific tactical guidelines, satisfying differentiation, relevance, integration, value, and excellence criteria. And so by this, I should be explaining this shit in the book, damn it. But by this I meant, so tactical guidelines, so how the step-by-step guidelines that you're going to be using in order to market yourself, right? So satisfy differentiation. By that, we're talking about your product differentiation or your offer, how you're going to differentiate yourself in the market. Relevance. How are you going to be relevant to your customer? How will you integrate yourself? How will you going to, think of seamless integration? How are you going to integrate yourself into your customer's life? How are you going to provide them value and show that you're excellent? You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, these are buzzwords, but they do have meaning when you take action on them. You know what I mean? They're not just buzzwords, right? Okay. So guidelines for specific brand management tasks such as ad campaigns, evaluation, and brand name selection may also be offered. Specify the proper treatment of the brand in terms of trademark usage, design considerations, packaging, and communications. As these types of instructions can be long and detailed, it is often better to create a separate brand or corporate identity style manual or guide to address these more mechanical considerations. And then I have a brand equity report outlined in here, with a challenge for you to write out a brand equity report to measure the strength of your brand. The brand equity report should describe what is happening with the brand as well as why it is happening. It should include all relevant internal measures of operational efficiency and effectiveness and external measures of brand performance and sources and outcomes of brand equity. In particular, one section of the report should summarize consumers' perceptions of key attribute or benefit associations. So, you know what I'm saying? What are the key benefits, the key factors, attributes, characteristics of their associations with you? Their preferences and their reported behavior as revealed by the tracking study. Another section of the report should include more descriptive market level information such as the following: product shipments and movement through channels of distribution, retail category trends, relevant cost breakdowns, price and discount schedules where appropriate, sales and market share information broken down by relevant factors such as geographic region, type of retail account, or customer, profit assessments. And then we're going to come back to where we were thinking of our major positives, lessons learned, daily goals, and weekly goals before. So I have our conclusion here and our challenge. Write 4 new lists like these for your marketing now. Major positives, lessons learned, daily goals, weekly goals, and compare this list to the first one you made. I think this is the last challenge. So consider where you were when you began this portion of your journey and where you are now. Now that it is the end of the book, you should understand how I use marketing to earn money. I'm going to sum up the ideas we discussed in the introduction and throughout this book. Digital marketing consists of all electronic advertising. Traditional marketing is basically any form of marketing not on a screen. Digital marketing and traditional marketing are intertwined. Traditional methods have become produced digitally, and digital methods can be distributed traditionally. A marketing to sales pipeline is what connects a marketing funnel to a sales funnel. As you build your contact list, you will be able to identify prospects interested in fulfilling specific wants or needs. Any contacts that said they were interested but haven't taken any actions to respond to you beyond an initial interaction are marketing qualified leads as long as they agree to receive messages from you. Contact contacts who have not only expressed interest, but also have taken actions to respond to you and are ready to buy from you right now are sales qualified leads. If you ever get confused about the difference between direct marketing and indirect marketing, just replace the word marketing with money. Direct marketing gets you direct money, my bad. Direct marketing gets you direct money, and indirect marketing brings you indirect money. 3 forms of direct marketing are business to consumer, and events. Business to business marketing is when your job is to not only talk to people in their role of working for, why'd I say not only? There is no not here. Fuck, man. Okay. Business to business marketing is when your job is to only talk to people in their role of working for another business. Business to consumer marketing is what most people think of, marketing that people see when they are making a personal purchase instead of one on behalf of their work. Events can be private or public. In terms of marketing, anytime a team is sent into the field, it is considered an event. Experiential or field marketing is thought of like an event in order to maintain a sense of excitement and create the Jones effect. When you do events, keep in mind the concept of permission marketing in all aspects of your approach. And digital too, but people really forget it. People forget it in both places. Really, it's just said all the time. Okay. 3 forms of indirect marketing are search engine optimization, conversion rate optimization, and customer-based brand equity. Search engine optimization is a long-term strategy for earning short-term profits through optimizing to get onto search engines. Conversion rate optimization is a short-term strategy for maintaining long-term profits by improving the amount of people who take action with you over time. Customer-based brand equity is how other people perceive your work. It's because brand equity means brand value. So customer-based means your brand equity, your brand value is based on the customer. Then that's what they mean by perception really is reality, huh? Just kidding. It's not all the time though. I'm just kidding. You now know how to earn at least $4 for every one you spend. Theoretically, in terms of, you gotta know how to set your cost caps though, because also, okay, so you know like what it takes to make $4 for every one you spend theoretically, but there is a difference between knowing that how to do this theoretically and applying it. So if you've never ran ads on Facebook and Google and you don't know how the actual platforms function, then you might not know how to set the correct cost cap so you don't overspend. And that's where a lot of people fuck up. Or how to enter your money in right. I just burped, dude. I'm sorry. So how you enter your money in right so you're not fucking overspending on your budget, right? So depending on how you want to do it, whatever. That's a whole different conversation and beyond the scope of this book. Okay, so. And then I put in here, plus you should be able to develop the following for any of your endeavors. 1, a streamlined promotion system. I put systems, whoops. 2, optimized landing pages for conversion rates and search engines. 3, branding elements. 4, a marketing plan. 5, financial reports. 6, a lead magnet. 7, social media. 8, contact lists. 9, A/B tests. 10, pitches. At the end of this ebook is a challenge checklist to use to keep track of each task. Congratulations and cheers to you on your marketing journey. Finishing this book is like, the end is nigh. We ride at dawn. Damn, I really put that in here? Alright. Check out the appendix for more information, including a link to my blog, some select blog posts, technical information if you want to know how JSON LD came to be, and links to all you need to know for running a street team. If there is anything you need, don't hesitate to reach out. You can pay me to work on your behalf or book a consultation at noladuffchild.com. So here in the appendix, let's check this out. So for the bonus material, I provide uh, a link to over 100 ideas to test for what I call my Lexipedia. I give a reading list, and for books, for this, everything on the reading list I've actually read. And people are constantly, okay, here's another thing. For my reading list, online classes list, and my blogs, everything in my reading list and online classes list and in my blog posts is shit I actually read and looked at and used in my work and research. And people are constantly asking me to just throw their shit in there. And I'm like, no, because I didn't actually use that when I made this. So I only do that if I have a link that died, so the link doesn't work anymore. I will go check that original source first. If they have a new link, if they don't, then I might go replace it with someone else with that data. But other than that, I don't do, like, I need to actually have used you to put to, you know what I mean? So yeah, and so that's why I do ways that I do free things, but for the most part I will have to charge for that because that's my time it takes to then, so, and then people act like something's wrong with me for wanting to charge them for me needing to go write a whole new blog post or article for them if they want me to promote them. And I'm like, if I choose to offer you that free service, that's my choice. And I do sometimes, but in general, it's not my rule of thumb because I can't do that for everybody. It's not possible for me to do that for every person that asks me to. I just can't. Anyway, sorry, but I'm sorry about that ramble here. But anyway, fucking so I linked to my reading list, online classes list, and some blog posts in here that I've written. And you can go check my website for all that shit. Or if you want easy access to this link from one place, you can get this ebook either from my online store if you just want to support me there, or for free if you join my contact list. I am burping. I blame the sodas. Anyway, so after that, I got some JavaScript object notation link data, also known as JSON LD, technical info in here, so we can discuss that real quick. So I put REST refers to the website's underlying architectural style. It stands for representational state transfer and defines a set of constraints for web services. This integrates exposed data into the semantic web. It is primarily necessary because the amount of data produced by a machine is exponentially growing and outnumbering human input. The goal is to, my fucking chair just squeaked and I'm like not mature enough to handle that. Okay. So then it says the goal is to transform islands of data into webs of data. XML and JSON are the most popular media types that focus on presentation of raw data and thus allow the serialization syntax to be separated from the application semantics. But neither have inherent support for hyperlinks. This shortcoming prevents networking effects to arise. I feel like it's a typo, my bad. Anyway, so then I put, however, this is addressed by linked data. So basically, in plain terms, all this fucking means is the internet doesn't have context for when humans use words sometimes. And so this snippet of code gives the search algorithms that context so it knows more particular what you could be looking for. So that's how it can implement how certain sites might be showing up more than others for certain things when they have code like this that helps them do so. You know what I'm saying? So yeah. Fucking then I put in here, before LD, JSON developed as a way to make object-oriented programming languages like Java compatible in ways XML could not. XML gets rid of interoperability problems between programs and mapping systems to objects or vice versa. XML is an extensible markup language. HTML is a hypertext markup language. The difference is that XML focuses on transfer of data, while HTML focuses on the presentation of data. JSON is a lightweight language independent data interchange format that is easy to parse and generate. Fallbacks. I don't like where I put no native hypermedia support. So, but like back when I was writing all of this, like I was so, because we know when you get used to in the English language, you hearing things like native language, native plant, you know what I mean, native speaker, um, things like that, or but and then it's in technical stuff too. But in hindsight, I really don't like that anyway, because of indigenous issues. But fucking, I had to process that shit then. Processing it now. Anyway, so then I put no support for namespaces or semantic annotations. Therefore, lacks in describing relation to current documents. JSON-LD is an attempt to create a simple method to not only express linked data, but also to add semantics or context to existing JSON documents. And then I give Street Team 101. I give some articles on Street Team. And then here we have the challenge checklist. And it's just a recap of each of the challenges that we went over. I'm not going to reread those, but that is in here as well. Oh, I do have one more. So here I have a bonus challenge. Email a copy of your marketing plan outline, executive summary template, marketing assessment, brand audit, brand charter, brand equity report, and marketing dashboard to my email. Put that in there, fuck it, whatever. I will just unlist this eventually. With the subject, 60-hour marketing challenge 2021. Complete the bonus challenge to become digitally certified by me. And you know, I think I have my email on here anyway. Whatever, fuck, I have my email pretty visible anywhere anyway. Why am I acting like that? Who cares? I just, whatever, forgot about it. Okay, so I had put, complete the bonus challenge to become digitally certified by me in the 60-hour marketing challenge 2021. This certificate can be for your resume, website, or portfolio. The more certifications you have, the more likely it is you'll be chosen for your work over someone else if a decision needs to be made. It does not expire. It comes at no extra cost. Show your prospects certification. Bitches love certifications. And then I'll put, keep me updated with your marketing journey. You can use my hashtags or tag my accounts if you want me to share your work as you go along. And I put hashtag challenge accepted. I guess that one doesn't really work for me because I can't really own challenge accepted. I don't know why I put that in there. But 60-hour marketing challenge, Nola Depchild, what's Nola doing? Depchild Dabs, Depchild blog, my life is a carnival. So yeah, branding elements on the cover page use Maya Jevons illustrations. Other elements are for Canva. So yeah. And you can leave a review if you'd like. And that is the ebook. So nobody actually submitted the plans to me. I've had people buy the book and or get it for free in my contact list sign up, but I actually haven't had anybody complete the bonus challenge. So feel free to surprise me. But yeah, so this concludes our 60-hour marketing challenge. So our first prior half we had discussed the more technical aspects of setting up your marketing in terms of the digital side and a lot of aspects. We also touched on general marketing and sales funnels and theories and structures and ideologies, but a lot of it this time went into more of the technical in terms of digital aspects. And then this last half, we really focused on ways we can it can be applicable to in-person or online, but I feel like a lot of this is really good for how to better articulate your message when you're able to have those one-on-one conversations with people as well. And just like, but in general, it all helps in all of your advertising and marketing. And so we really went more into the message, what are we putting people out there? And so today we covered field marketing, networking, 5 steps to a conversation, law of averages, 6 impulse factors, SW3 equals N, which stands for some will, some won't, so what? Next. We looked at kiss versus kill. Keep it simple. Keep it short and sweet versus keeping it long and you lose customers, lose attention, stuff like that. So kiss versus kill. And we got 8 great working habits. And that's just like some shit that I wrote. I feel like I put that in there, but I wrote these from notes from a marketing agency that I worked at, where that was like shit that they would be putting out there, and I was like, fuck it, you know what? I'll be taking every time I work with people, I'll be taking notes. So fuck it, I put that shit up in here. I was like, I find this helpful. So those 8 habits were from them, but then the commentary about the habits were from me. You know what I'm saying? Um, but yeah. And then mountain climb, a lot of people, they expect a lot of immediate results, but you don't climb Everest in a day. People should really stop climbing Everest. But fucking, you don't climb a mountain in a day. It's gradual, right? Unless it's a smaller mountain. I think you can climb some mountains in a day, but you don't climb a big mountain in a day. Fucking, alright. And then we looked into objections and overturns. We considered preemptive strike. And that's when, you strike while the iron's hot. Just kidding. You fucking, you want to combat issues, or you want to go ahead and be able to articulate why someone's objection is irrelevant before they even object. You know what I mean? So that's what that is. Our bullet theory in terms of just thinking about like how do people interact with you as a business? You know what I mean? Um, and so then we looked into suggestion, urgency, fear of loss, indifference, green light theory, feel good factor. We talked about rehash, which is when you basically remind people like why there's a sale, why they are buying from you. We looked into our KPI track sheet and ROAS report, the digital analytics, the gauges. We've talked about how to increase your return on ad spend, and we discussed research and development, as well as a bunch of templates and outlines. So we looked at templates and outlines for marketing plan outline, executive summary template, marketing assessment template, brand audit template, brand charter template, brand equity report. And we had some bonus material in the appendix, including a challenge checklist. And it came with a bonus fucking challenge to get a certificate if you'd like. So yeah, fucking that's what we've been covering, 60-hour marketing challenge. Thank you so much for joining me for that. Fucking let's see. I felt like there is something I wanted to cover and I totally forgot what that was. Hmm. Well then. But yeah. Oh, bullet theory, by the way, is the idea of being able to inject a message into someone's mind. It's how people, but in marketing, it's how people perceive your business because of the messages we're injecting into their minds. Typically in marketing, it's about selling, right? You know what I mean? But like, and then all these things were a lot of these social theories where we're thinking about them, like that one, for example, where we're thinking about it in terms of marketing, it can really be applied to any type of communication. So marketing really is just communication. You know what I'm saying? So anything when we talk about marketing theories and communication theory, we can apply that to any form of communication with others as well. So we can let that marinate. So all aspects and different types of negotiations and persuasion and or just sending the right message to the right person, making someone aware of something, like things like that. Yeah, like it's when you think a lot about the marketing concepts that you're using, then you start thinking about how are you accidentally marketing every fucking day? You know, and you want to turn your brain off. You're like, I don't mean to keep marketing, but but then it's just like, but at the same time, I feel like a lot of people though, we have to do these things anyway. For example, if you're a server, if you're a barista, like a lot of people in our day to day, you have to, in a lot of ways, market because you have to be able to communicate what you're doing in the workforce, to somebody. We've all got somebody who we are pitching something to, right? So I feel like a lot of it is relevant to everybody, and this can help anybody in any position. It was written for people who are marketers and entrepreneurs and trying to start a business to build their business. But I also think this book is good for people who are just generally working um, to think about what types of businesses they want to work for, the ethical things that are happening there, what type of businesses they want to buy from, as well as just like how are they communicating themselves and using that in their own career. You know what I mean? So I'm hoping it could help anybody. That's what I wrote it for. So yeah. So wrapping up, well, I feel like that was like me kind of concluding the ebook and stuff, and now just wrapping up this live stream. Fucking today we've talked about a good bit. We've talked about a good bit. Fucking, you know what? I feel like I should do one more time. Just a reminder. You should totally go check out Ink by Caste. You know what I'm saying? Near Pasadena, Texas. If you're interested in getting a tattoo near Houston, go get one from the VHO studio. So fucking basically we started off with my part two of the shit doesn't add up rehash, where I was rehashing the presentation, rolling the clips on specific things where I felt like inconsistent statements or evidence came to light, making me question the reality, right? Um, and we had to do a part two follow up on that because I had remembered a source and then decided to look at it, and then I forgot where we left off, and I skipped through some things. And so, and then I accidentally jumped over another thing too. So we looked over those things that I had forgotten to cover previously. Um, and the whole reason I even did the entire fucking rehash thing is just because I got that defamation thing, and I was like, what did I say that I didn't literally react directly to the source for? And I was thinking, well, the fucking presentation. It was the only thing I could think of. So here we are. That's what we did. And then after that, I felt like it was just a good time to do part two here of the 60-hour marketing challenge ebook reading. Um, and so we finished that off. And you can get my ebook again for free if you join my contact list. Or if you want to buy it to support, it's available in my online store. At this time that you're streaming this, that shit might change if you watch this later. Who knows? But for now, it's available still through there. Fucking, and there's some issues with it. We could be working on it, but hey, nobody's perfect. So my rating. So I have given the first part 3 out of 5 stars, because I have felt like I have a lot of good ideas in the book. Like everything I'm telling you, I think could really be helpful for you. But my issues that I don't like with my book is I don't explain things enough. I could be adding more sources too, but the book was obviously for the purpose of a lead magnet, so I didn't really outsource because my fucking whole purpose of the book was to get you to come fucking work with me, right? So it's like a lead magnet. Um, but yeah, so those are things that I don't like that, wish that I think I could be improving upon. And there's a lot of typos. There could have been a lot more editing with this book, you know, and there's the page inconsistency issue. So I'm going to give part 2 3 out of 5 stars as well. So I'm going to give this whole book 6 out of 10 stars. So I'm giving it 6 out of 10 stars because my final rating here, you know. I wrote it, we tried it, let's rate it, right? Fuck, I'm sorry. I'm not Keith Lee. I'm not that cool. Um, fucking, but 6 out of 10 stars because I have really good, like, vision with it, intentions and whatever. Like, um, it could have gone in a really good way, you know, like you do these things. I think it's gonna work out for you in a lot of ways. Hopefully, that's the goal. But there's just so many issues with the book, so many typos, so many things that I didn't explain good enough, you know? Like, we gotta, it's like 6 out of 10 stars. I think it's worth reading, it's worth testing the challenges, but is it a good book? Does it provide value? Yes. Is it the best book? Maybe not. You know, that's where I'm at personally. But it's up to you. Um, that's the rating I'm giving myself. But you know what? That just tells me where I can work on and improve in the future, right? So yeah. Fucking we're here now. Thank you for joining me today. I appreciate you. Fucking yeah, man. Life is hard. I need to. What the fuck did I say I was gonna link? Oh, dude, pricing. Okay, I'm gonna go try to remember to go link the pricing shit that I was talking about in the description of this video, like right now, basically. Alrighty. So thank you so much for joining me. I hope you have a good day. Be safe. Good night now. Have a good night. Floss your teeth. Be safe. I appreciate you. And yeah, bye. Thanks for watching. Join the loyalty program at noladeafchild.com/loyalty and check in during live streams to get points for rewards.